Start with the escalating conflict in the Middle East. Energy prices, as Kelly mentioned, are spiking, and this is after Israel struck Iran's vast South Pars natural gas field, and now Iran is retaliating across the region. Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. is on track in Iran, but would not say specifically when the conflict could end. In a press briefing just a short time ago, he was asked about the Pentagon requesting $200 billion for the war.
As far as $200 billion, I think that number could move, obviously. It takes money to kill bad guys. So we're going back to Congress and our folks there to ensure that we're properly funded for what's been done, for what we may have to do in the future, ensure that our ammunition everything's refilled, and not just refilled, but above and beyond.
CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins us now from our DC bureau. Olivia, good morning. Great to see you. What more did we learn from today's Pentagon briefing that we didn't already know?
Well, good Thursday morning. It's good to see you both. Yes, that $200 billion figure certainly stood out to me. That was some reporting yesterday from the Washington Post that Secretary Hegseth confirmed there. And it's notable because in comparison, the U.S. has given about $170 billion to Ukraine, but that's been over 5 years. We are 20 days into this conflict, and now the Pentagon is going back to Congress and saying they need $200 billion. That is very notable. I also want to point out that Secretary Hegseth said that today is going to be yet another day of the most intense strikes so far in the war in Iran. And if you're thinking you're having deja vu, I felt the same because Secretary Hegseth has said that at the last previous press conferences that he has had at the Pentagon. And the reason why he is saying that, though, is because the U.S. has continued to penetrate deeper and deeper into Iran's airspace with those Israeli fighters as well. So certainly quite notable there. He did not get into the time frame. He said that they are on track, but they have not set a definitive time frame for when this conflict could end. He was also asked about that South Pars gas field, which is a jointly owned between Qatar and Iran, this major gas field that supplies a vast majority of energy to the world. President Trump on True Social last night said the U.S. knew nothing about this particular attack that Israel did on the Iranian side of the South Pars gas field. And the president also said there will be no more attacks made by Israel pertaining to this, but if Iran would retaliate against Israel in striking parts of Qatar's ownership of the gas field, then the president is threatening to bomb that site. Now, Secretary Hegseth has said that the U.S. is leading this fight, that they are leading this war, but this is certainly turning to a new page where it seems that critical infrastructure as it relates to gas and energy are becoming main targets in the region. So there's a lot to watch in that space today that we learned from this Pentagon press briefing.
And of course, that's spiking oil prices, and that will trickle down to Americans here at home.
First of all, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. All right, that's all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. All right, whom the world ignorantly called God. You know, His name is Yahweh, means He is, He exists. All right, and Yahweh Shai, whom this world ignorantly called Jesus, His name means He saves, He delivers. Double honors to the elder, apostles, and bishops, the great millstone, GMS, ruling well, teaching on the highways and hedges, week in and week out. You know, in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so now, so more than ever. All right, Shalom to the household of faith, the house of David, the tabernacles of David, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans scattered to the four winds of the earth. All right, and you who look like the other nations. All right, but go back to the lineage of Jacob, aka Israel. Shalom to you and a few sisters out there listening and learning in silence, as the scripture said to do so. When your brothers is Sahaban Yahweh, knows willingness is edifying. Let's get into it. All right, so this is the book of 2 Timothy 3. Verse 1, it says, "This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come." All right, those are rough times. "For men shall be lovers of their own selves." All right, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers. All right, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. Now, verse 3 is heavy. All right, verse 2. All of these verses are heavy. Okay, so these people are very unthankful, very unholy. Okay, they throw the law of the Heavenly Father behind their backs. They don't have no natural affection for anyone. They break truces. The Edomites, they know for breaking truces. They know for breaking agreements. Okay, got NATO and EU pissed at them because they wanted to take Greenland. Okay, they are false accusers. Okay, so these people they say most of the news is fake, which I can agree to some extent. Okay, but they're not lying all the time. All right, they're going after the news stations now, talking about they're gonna defund them for telling the truth. Okay, these people are incontinent. Okay, they are fierce, despisers of those that are good. Right, so you got a lot of censorship going on in Babylon the Great. Okay, and then they are traitors. Okay, they go against the Constitution. Okay, they go against the Hague Convention and all these things that they set up as the rule of law, as the law of the land. They go against it. They are very heady, high-minded. Okay, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High Power Yahweh. Okay, it says having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Okay. All right, Babylon the Great is that harlot. Okay, nobody wants to be dealing with a harlot because she come with what? Dis-ease. Okay, in these perilous times, she's full of dis-ease. Okay, because of her abominations. Okay, it says Revelation 18:4. It says that I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." Yeah, she's full of plagues, man. This harlot. Okay, Babylon the Great, aka America. Its leadership is not leading anything. What can the blind lead the blind? Okay. It's the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 39. It says, "And he spake a parable unto them, and that he is Yahweh Shai." It says, "Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch?" All right. So here we are. They had a press conference today with Japan. Okay, and they're trying to lead Japan into the Strait of Hormuz with their minesweepers. Okay, and they agreed. Which goes strictly against their constitution. Okay, for that only being used primarily for defenses. But now, Hegseth and Nero 47, aka DJT, has pretty much gotten them to agree to go into the Strait of Hormuz because they convinced Japan that their bottom line is at risk. Okay, and that they have stake in what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, after begging NATO and NATO refusing. Now they're literally dragging the Japan, because Japan is basically blind too at this point. If they follow the United States into this thing, they are just as blind as the United States is, right? Who don't know their own end.
環境が非常に厳しい状況にあります。
Right now, situations in the Middle East and also the entire world, we are actually experiencing a very severe security environment.
そして世界経済もかなり厳しい影響を受けつつあります。
And also the global economy is now about to experience a huge hit because of this development.
でも私は、世界の、繁栄とそして、平和に、貢献できる、世界中に、平和と繁栄をもたらせるのはドナルドだけだと思っています。
But even against that backdrop, I firmly believe that it is only you, Donald, who can achieve peace across the world.
So this is what you call blind faith. Okay, and this is what you call people worshiping other people, idolizing other people. Okay, so this is the Japanese Prime Minister meeting with DJT Nero 47. All right, to join the forces over there, the Allied, very little Allied forces over there in the Strait of Hormuz to defend it, allegedly, right? What's so crazy about this conversation is, at a certain point, Trump mentioned something about the Pearl Harbor, and then he mentioned how they pretty much took down like 50 to 60% of the whole nation, and I can't believe he said it right there in front of the Japanese Prime Minister, right? And she has to have an interpreter, obviously, right? But let's get to it. But before we get there, real quick, there's another point I just came across right now, where the press asked him something specific about their previous stance on, oh, it's almost over. The conflict in Iran is almost over. Watch this.
That's very good. I haven't picked up your language, so the next time you come, I'll have your language mastered. All right, go ahead.
If the war is almost over, why is the Pentagon going to ask Congress for an additional $200 billion?
Well, we're asking for a lot of reasons beyond even what we're talking about in Iran. This is a very...
That's code for they getting ready to mess with Cuba. That's a heads up right there. He just told you. They're getting ready to try to go into Cuba, and of course they're going to try to go into Greenland. Okay, they're gonna blitz that area, man. Watch.
Volatile world, and the military equipment, the power of some of this weaponry is unthinkable. You don't even want to know about it. Oh, you could end this thing in 2 seconds if you wanted to, but we are being very judicious. But we want to do. Don't forget, Biden gave away. I rebuilt the military in my first term. Biden gave away so stupidly to Afghanistan a lot. He didn't want to move it. He was too lazy, too stupid to move it. But it was a very small amount. It was a lot, but it was very small relative to what I purchased and what I built.
It's all the order out of chaos, man. Like, and I know y'all remember this when they was talking about they left over there like planes, and they left like bulletproof vests, helmets, goggles, guns, everything you could think of. They left it over there, and that was on purpose because them people, they knew they was in the Epstein files too, and they somebody got a whiff of what the idea of the I to the D to the F was about to do. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, we not blind, man, to what's going on, man. The Dems, they knew that their name was on that list and they needed to bring some chaos, and they was really pretty much in on it with them people, because they was like some of the main ones. Like the earliest PDF files I heard about was like Bill Clinton, you know what I'm saying, Bill Gates, all of them is all Dems. And believe it or not, this German that you're looking at on the screen right there, he was a lifelong Democrat and supporter and heavy contributor, heavy donator. You think AIPAC is bad? Pfft, bro, it ain't got nothing on Trump.
We want to have vast amounts of ammunition, which we have right now. We have a lot of ammunition, but it was taken down by giving so much to Ukraine. They gave so much. Biden gave $350 billion worth of cash and military equipment to Ukraine.
More destabilization. You see that? It's right out of the playbook, man. It's Orwellian. This is the New World Order. This is how they're gonna establish it. Order through chaos. Chaos, right? Order out chaos. The Hegelian dialectic, okay? It's a problem, reaction, and solution. Running with the solution, which is what? War every time, which is funded by who? The elite banking families. The elite banking families make money because you're going to have to borrow for war. He just said they're going to ask Congress for what? What did they say, $200 billion? And that's going to be, it's going to be interest tacked onto that. All of this stuff is orchestrated plays. Everything is strategic. Okay, order out of chaos, man. Now watch this dude get ready to lie right to his teeth. So he don't need no help, but he asking Congress for $300 billion or whatever, $200 billion, whatever it is, whatever the crazy ass number is. And then he gonna say he don't need no help. Watch this, but he's sitting there begging Japan for help.
If this happens, do you expect from Japan in the future?
Look, I expect Japan to step up because, we have that kind of relationship, and we step up for Japan. We have 45,000 soldiers in Japan. We spend a lot of money on Japan, and we've had that kind of a relationship. So I expect, I'm not surprised that they would step up. We don't need much. We don't need anything. I mean, honestly, we don't need anything from Japan or from anyone else, but I think it's appropriate that people step up. In the case of Japan, I hear they get more than 90% of their oil through the strait. So that's a big reason to step up. I mean, we've demolished, that country is close to demolished. The only thing is the strait. It's very hard. You could take two people and they could drop little bombs in the water and they're holding things up. We don't want that to happen.
Good friend, but one question: why didn't you tell U.S. allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? You know, he's asking me. No, you believe in surprise, I think, much more so than us. And we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out, the first 2 days, we probably knocked out 50% of what we, and much more than we anticipated doing.
So he really just said that in a news conference. You know, he really said this, man. This dude, he got some audacity, man. I'm telling you, to be begging for help, and then just say pretty much we took out 50 to 60, even more than what they anticipated of Japan. All right, man. If that ain't demonic, I don't know what is. Psalms 94, verse 1. O power Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongeth. O power, to whom vengeance belongeth. Show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. Yahweh, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things? And all the workers of iniquity boast themselves. All right? So it's a lot of boasting when it comes to these people, man. You heard Pete Hegseth, right? You heard DJT. Okay? So, how long? It says in AI overview, when the president asks for money, Congress must pass laws to authorize spending and raise revenue. That means taxation to you and I. Primarily by selling treasury securities, bonds, notes, bills to domestic and foreign investors who really ain't really interested. They see the dollar take it. Why would they do that? It says the U.S. Treasury manages the debt, right? So you talking about Scott Bessent. The dude looks like an actor, man, a B-list actor. Tons of makeup on. He looked fake, man. All right. It says the U.S. Treasury manages this debt, and it is ultimately repaid by taxpayers through federal taxes. See that? Often by issuing new debt to pay off old debt. So yeah, the people that's working these jobs is indirectly now supporting this war effort. Now y'all starting to see the bigger picture. You got military on the ground here, domestically and in foreign nations over there on these ships that don't even want to be there. Right? You know, so you get this. This is the sedition. Okay, people speaking out against the authorities. I'm gonna get that precept, and I'm gonna go ahead and close it out, man. But this is about to get bad for everybody, and this is gonna bring in the mark of the beast system. Revelation 13, verse 16 through 17. Yeah, man. So these jack-o'-lanterns, of course, they're gonna cause the dollar to further devalue. BRICS is gonna run in with the EU, and that's gonna be like the CBDCs and all that stuff is coming real quick, man. Watch. It says, oh my bad, I'm in the wrong chapter. Revelation 13, verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, aka choragma in the Greek, right? Which is goes into a badge of servitude or a sharp prick. So that right there goes into the injectable, the hypodermic needle. Okay, it says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? So buy includes buying travel tickets. Okay, you won't be able to travel unless you have that mark of the beast in your right hand or in your forehead, and they can scan you and see, oh, you clear. Because of this whole conflict, this world, this upcoming third woe, because it's upcoming. Okay, the mark of the beast got to come first. All right, verse chapter 17 in Revelation. All right, it says, verse 5. It says, and upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. That's talking about America. All right. It says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of martyrs of Yahweh Shai. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. All right, she about to come down on Jake specifically. Look at what's happening in Cuba. They beating on pans right now, making noise because their power's out. This is all a part of the plan. All right, the northern and southern kingdom in captivity together in Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon. All right, and this proves it. Okay. It says, let me see. All right, so the 10 horns are, of course, NATO and EU. Okay. These have, verse 13, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, right? Which is Satan. It says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. So that's to come in the very near future. All right, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So keeping your trust in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the Heavenly Father going to deliver you. You just got to endure. Okay. It says in the 10 horns, verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, okay, they're riding the devil right now, right? The beast. It says, these shall hate the whore, which is America. The whore is America. Make no mistake about it. It says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That's the thermonuclear, ICB, and intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, they stockpiling the shit. You know, America's lying through the news, you know, through some of these news outlets. But more than that, they doing a lot of press conferences lately. The news cycle is crazy. All right, so that's what's going on, man. But the 10 horns, those nations, the foreign nations that dislike and disagree with what America's doing, is going to destroy this place, this continent. Okay, yeah, that lake of fire. That's Babylon the Great, man. So, you know, the Lord's hopeful elect is going to have power over the beast and the mark and all that. Is going to reject it, okay, firmly, and they're going to stand stiffly and boldly for the name of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. With that said, Lord's willing, this is edifying. Until the next one. All right, Shalom.